Guys, I want to do a video for you today on why should I use the builder's preferred lender when I'm buying a new construction home. As we all know, new construction is doing very well in today's market. Builders are offering way more incentives. I'm doing the video September 2025. The market is kind of slow. Resale is selling slow. Builders are giving a lot of incentives to get people to buy their home. They're also offering to do a buy down to help you to buy down your interest rate. And I have clients that say to me, well, how come I can't use my own lender? Why do I have to use the builder's preferred lender? Well, legally, you could use whoever you want. Like literally, no builder could say, unless you use our preferred lender, you cannot buy our home. No builder is legally obligated to say that. No builder will tell you, if you don't use our lender, we're going to charge you more for the home. The home price will always remain the same. However, the builder wants to keep the transaction as risk-free as possible, and they want to be able to track everything that's going on when you go on the contract with them. So one of the reasons why they want you to use their lender, we're going to get into more stuff later, but one of the reasons why they want you to use their lender is because they want to know if you're truly qualified for the home and if you'll be able to close on the home. That's the primary reason. They want to keep it in-house so they have, they could modify their risk factor. Their lender is going to tell them if there's any pitfalls, if there's any issues, if there's something you have to fix before they could actually give you the loan, all that stuff. So the builder knows if the deal is going to fall apart faster. And if they know the deal is going to fall apart, they're going to put the property back on the market for sale, even while the lender is trying to work with you to fix it. If you use an outside lender, the builder has no control. The builder can only depend upon what information that outside lender wants to share with them. And that's not going to be beneficial to the builder. Because the builder's job is to build as many homes as possible and sell as much as possible. And they don't want, when they think there's a closing coming up next week, all of a sudden you can't close, the deal falls apart, and now they're in a way worse position because they know that this was a shaky deal from the beginning. They're going to tell their sales force, hey, listen, I know we're selling lot one to this person, but their financing is a little bit shaky, so this property might come back on the market. So the builder wants to have control. That's really what it comes down to. Now, the builder, because they want to have control, is going to give a lot of incentives for you to use their preferred lender. And most of the time, I'm going to even dare say 95% of the time, maybe 99% of the time, most lender will not be able to beat the builder's incentive. They just won't be able to. So what some builders will do now that the market is crazy and the market is not going in the builder's favor anymore, more going towards the buyer's favor, what the builder will tell you is, listen, if our lender cannot give you a mortgage, maybe you're self-employed and you got to do a different kind of financing or something to that effect, they'll say, if our lender cannot, you have to go through our lender first. If our lender cannot give you the program that works for you to purchase this property, then we will offer you probably off of whatever it is they were offering you if you were to use their lender. So they will give some incentive still. Some builders will give some incentive still if you cannot use their preferred lender for whatever the reason is, but they're not going to give you the full benefits, right? They won't do it. So in order to get you to use their lender, they're gonna sweeten the pot, so to speak. So they're gonna give you a lot of incentives. Not only are they going to give you incentives on maybe upgrades and that kind of stuff, but the price will not change. The price will remain. So if the home is $450, it's going to be $450. But they might say, hey, if you use our lender, you're going to get $20,000 worth of upgrade, plus we'll pay your closing costs. And the reason why they can do that is because that lender is doing such a volume of mortgages or loans for that builder that they can give them all these incentives.
Need to buy or sell fast? Make one call, that's all. And put our 23 years of experience to work for you. Gift Group Sells Homes is the way to go. Call for 07-791-4713.
Whereas if you go to one person who is a lender and they're only doing that one deal for that builder, they have to go by different guidelines because they don't have the incentive because they're not doing that volume of loan for the builder. This is why the builder's lender can offer so much incentive and can also pay your closing costs. Now, there are some things they won't let you pay. There's some things that the builder's lender will pay for you, where your regular lender will not pay for you. Right? There's just some closing costs that the builder lender, because they're doing such a volume of loan for the builder, they're going to pay it. They're going to just pay it. You won't have to pay it. But if you go to another lender, that lender is not going to be able to do it. So if you're a regular W-2 person, that means you have a regular job. They will do it for self-employed based upon how much money you're putting down. Their lenders are very versed on VAs, FHAs, USDA, all the government-backed loans. They're very versed on that. But sometimes you might be self-employed, or you don't have enough income, or whatever it is, and an outside lender is telling you, hey, we could do this. Or maybe you went through a down payment program like NACA, right? NACA is a program that's designed for people looking to buy their home for the first time, and you could buy a new construction home through NACA, but you wouldn't be able to use the builder's lender. You'd have to use a NACA qualified lender. So in those kind of circumstances, the builder might say to you, listen, under normal circumstances, we're giving $20,000 incentive towards your closing costs, but because you're not using our lender, we can only give you $10,000 towards your closing costs, right? But most lenders know they could never match the builder's incentives. And what the builder will do, if you went and found another lender, let's say I'll match your builder's incentive, the builder will double their incentive or give you even more incentive that the other person can't do, because they need to have the control of the loan. And that's why they do this. So that's the reason why they could pay your closing costs. Now, in today's world, let's talk about today's world. In today's world, interest rates are kind of high. They're higher than what they were in 2020, 2021, and 2019, all those stuff. But some people can't qualify because they could qualify back then, but they can't qualify now. So what the builder will do, they'll do a buy down. And you got to be very careful with how the builder is buying down the interest rate. You want to first ask, is this a temporary buy down or is this a permanent buy down? Because a temporary buy down means the interest rates are going to be bought down for maybe 2 years or 3 years, but at the fourth year or the third year, the regular monthly payment is going to kick back into being. Can you afford it at that time? Or is this a permanent buy down where you buy down my interest rate for the life of the loan? So then no payment is going to kick in to make it higher, right? Most of the time for a temporary buy down, it's normally it's normally like a 3-2-1. So they'll say stuff like, I can't talk, oh my gosh. They'll say stuff like, we'll give you a 3-2-1, meaning we'll pay down 3% of the mortgage for the first year, 2% on the second year, 1% on the third year, and your regular mortgage goes into being in the fourth year. Now they have to tell you not the builder, but the builder's lender has to tell you what that regular mortgage is, what does it look like for the third year, the 2 year, and the 1 year that they're buying down, and how much is it really costing you for this buy down. Because maybe you want to use that money towards something else that they're going to give you for the buy down, and keep the interest rate the way it is, and just start paying the monthly payment from day one that way, right? It depends, right? Depends, because some builder will say, we're going to give you a 3-2-1, but you're going to have to pay your own closing costs. We'll pay to buy down the interest rate, you're going to have to pay for the closing costs. If the builder is saying that to you, then you must know what the closing cost is. So first you got to know what the closing cost is. Then you must know how much are you really paying, how much is it costing you, the lender, the builder's lender, to buy down this interest rate, the 3-2-1. How much is it costing you? If it's costing them the same amount of money as the closing cost, then you got to decide, okay, well, how much more money would I be paying monthly if I don't do this 3-2-1? And can I afford it? And will my debt to income ratio be okay if I don't do the 3-2-1 with the builder? And instead of them doing that for me, have them just pay the closing costs, and in day one I just start paying the monthly mortgage payment, right? So those are things you got to weigh. Another thing you got to weigh is it a permanent buy down? And if it is a permanent buy down, how much is it costing to buy it down? And what amount of money am I saving monthly for this buy down? Is it a quarter point buy down, a half a point? A point makes a lot of sense. 1.5 point, 2 points. I highly doubt it's going to be 2 points, but I'm just saying you need to know what would be this buy down, right? What does that look like? And then you could go to your regular lender and say, hey, this builder lender is offering me this. Can you match it? Most of the time they won't be able to match it, and most of the time most lender will probably tell you go use the builder's lender. Why? Because the builder's lender have that amount of loan that you're doing for the builder, that another loan officer who's just doing that one loan for that builder will not be able to match. Plus, the builder is not going to give that loan officer, that one single loan officer, any kind of incentive to want to give you any incentive in return, right? So that's kind of how that works out. Also, we all know that when they price the property, right? When they price the property, they're pricing into the property your closing costs. They're probably pricing into the property the money that they're going to give you for the loan, for the interest rate buy down. So that's a part of the price of the property. So that's what you're going to get back. But if you go to an outside lender, they're going to get that money. Plus, you're going to have to come up with all this other closing costs for the outside lender, because the builder more than likely will not pay your closing costs if you don't use their lender. Or if it's a situation where you couldn't qualify for their lender, but you qualify for another lender, they might give you some incentive, but not enough incentive as if when you're using their lender. So as a realtor, I always advise my clients, it's a good idea to use the builder's lender and let us find out what the numbers look like. So if the builder is like, hey, I'm going to buy down your interest rate plus pay your closing costs, no problem, then it's a no-brainer. Why would I not want to use the builder? They're paying off my closing costs and they're paying on my interest rate. Even if it's a 3-2-1 buy down, who cares? They're still paying your closing costs. So if, let's save the money for the 3-2-1 buy down or the 2-1 buy down or whatever, however that's structured. But it's important for you to know what the builder is offering, what the builder's lender is offering you, as opposed to what a regular lender would offer you. And if you can't qualify for the builder's lender, would the builder be willing to give you some kind of incentive if you have to use another lender? For an example, I was buying a property one time and the builder's lender didn't do any kind of investment loan. They only do loans for primary residence, and I wasn't going to live at the property. So I needed to bring my investment lender in. And I said, so what are you going to, what are we doing here? Your lender, I would use them, but they obviously cannot do what I want them to do. So what are you going to offer me? And they end up offering to pay 50% of my closing costs. Plus they gave me some other incentive as well, which was great. So if their lender, but they're going to want you to talk to their lender first. You can't just say your lender is not going to work with me. They're going to want you to go through their lender to get qualified. And if the lender can't do the job and you have another lender that can, they will allow it, as long as, they figure out as a accredited lender and they could really do it. And they may also offer you some incentives as well. And this is a very long, lengthy topic. So if you have any questions or anything like that, give us a call, send us a text. Number should be somewhere here. We could jump on a phone call with you to discuss this even further, especially if you're looking to buy a new construction home and you're not sure how to structure that, okay? Give us a call, send us a text. We'll be happy to talk to you and guide you through that at no obligation, of course. And thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel and click on the little notification bell so you'll know when we are putting out another video. And I'm telling you, there's so much bloopers in this video. I don't know what's wrong with me. I love the topic, so I'm talking so fast and I'm like, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. But new construction is a way to go if you're looking to buy a home in today's market, September 2025, because a lot of builders are 100%, if you use their lender, they are giving a lot of incentives, including paying your closing costs and buying down your interest rate, which is what's most important in today's market, isn't it? See you in the next video.
Need to buy or sell fast? Make one call, that's all. And put our 23 years of experience to work for you. Gift Group Sells Homes is the way to go. Call for 07-791-4713.